Hi there, today I will talk about my upcoming sewing plans, and I'm going to focus on something that I feel I ignore sometimes, and that is making basics. Now, I love wearing basics, but they sometimes don't challenge me enough when it comes to sewing techniques, but I'm going to leave all those aspirations aside this time and focusing on making some really nice basic garments for fall. And I'm going to pick my inspiration from the 90s. And when I say 90s, I'm not referring to those tiny sunglasses or those crop tops, but instead I'm going to fetch my inspiration from classic 90s street style. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And if you're like me and really like that sort of classic 90s t-shirt and jeans style, I think you will really enjoy Wendy Mullen's first two books. She did Sew You series, and the book I'm holding in my hand now is the stretch book, which is one of my favorite knit sewing books because it has a lot of really nice basic patterns and ideas for alterations, and also very well illustrated instructions. So I'm really liking this book, and what I'm going to do is this. It's a classic two-color raglan top. I think it's called baseball tee or baseball shirt in the US, am I right? I really like this style, so I'm going to use her pattern for this one. I've probably done this raglan top at least 5 or 6 times before because it's a very solid pattern. So if you're looking for beginner books and perhaps you're just starting out sewing it and are also really into that sort of street style fashion, I can highly recommend that you check out Wendy Mullen's books. I will link to her in the description section so you can read more about the books I recommend of hers. And the fabrics I'm going to use for the raglan top or the baseball shirt top are these two. The black I will use for the sleeves and the neckband, and grey for the bodice front and back. And these two are both organic cotton jerseys, and I really like to do organic cotton as much as I can if I find it. I was actually not looking for cotton with has spandex in it, but unfortunately it's getting harder to find because I was actually told in a sewing store recently that most sewers are actually wanting to work with knits that has a bit of a liquor or spandex in it. So this has some stretch, not too much, but I do think spandex changes the hand of the fabric a bit, and I do prefer 100% cotton when I work with less fitted knit styles, but you can't have it all. At least it's organic, so I'm really excited about that. And the next top I'm making is also very much inspired by a 90s fashion. It's the ringer t-shirt. Now I wasn't familiar with this word ringer t-shirt until I did research for this video, but what that refers to is using contrasting binding for the neckline and the sleeves. You know, the classic t-shirt. I love that look, especially with a nice print on it. I might not venture into that because I've given up on printing my own makes for a while because it turned out being so difficult. But again, I am using the grey fabric for the t-shirt, and I'm going to use black for the contrasting binding, and I'm going to do wide binding, which I'm really excited about. And if you're curious on how I do binding, in my book Sewing Activewear I've actually have 4 different tutorials on how to do binding regardless of what type of machine you have. So if you're curious to know, gets really in-depth step-by-step instructions for how to nail this somewhat tricky technique regardless if you have attachment or not, you can check out my book Sewing Activewear. Of course, again, link will be in the description section for that. And the pattern I'm using for this t-shirt is a trusty old Burda pattern. Now this is hands down my favorite t-shirt pattern. Just like with the Built by Wendy pattern, this is a t-shirt that I have made countless of times. I really like it has the perfect amount of ease in the sort of classic t-shirt wear. Plus it's also a pattern with both men and women's sizing, so I can definitely recommend if you can find it. It might be out of print because it's a really old pattern, but if you like that sort of not wide but slightly loose fitted t-shirt, this is a A++ pattern, trust me on this one. And no 90s inspired wardrobe will be complete without a pair of low-waisted jeans. So that's I'm making as well. Now I have not yet subscribed to the high waist jeans trend. I'm definitely liking my jeans to sit low on the hips, or perhaps not that low, but at least around the tummy area, because I find that much more comfortable, and I think it's important to listen to your body when you're making clothes. So I'm sticking to that style, but I won't go all 90, so I'm going to skip the boot cut for now at least and do regular straight leg jeans. But speaking of Sew You and the Built by Wendy books, she actually has in her first book a really nice pattern for that type of hip-hugging, slightly bootcut pants. So if you're really into that 90s style, I highly recommend that you check out her 2 first books, because they're definitely very much inspired by that aesthetic. But I'm sticking with the straight leg pants, and I am picking the trusty Anita pattern from Burdastyle. I've done that pattern twice before, and I've made all the modifications, and it fits me beautiful, so I'm sticking to that plan. I'm not venturing out to any other skinny jeans or bootcut jeans. I'm just sticking to what I prefer. And I'm actually going to make 2 jeans at the same time. Yes, I'm batching. Not a fan, to be honest, but it does save me a lot of time not having to rethread all the things and tampering with the settings with top stitching and stuff. So I'm going to make 2 jeans, and the first jeans I'm going to use this denim blue stretch fabric that I bought in Denmark, and for the second pair I will use again a stretch denim, but this time it has a slightly darker hue, so it's definitely more black blue, if that makes sense. This fabric is a really nice designer denim from the Dutch label Geestar Raw, who makes designer jeans. A little bit more stretch than this one. So these were my plan for a 90s inspired basics collection. A raglan sleeve shirt, a t-shirt with binding, and 2 pair of low-waist jeans. And well, that's about it. And now I just need to sew all the things, but that's another story for another day. Anyways, if you haven't already, please subscribe for weekly sewing videos, and of course I would love to hear your thoughts about sewing basics. Is it something you love or something you avoid? Please tell me in the comment section. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!